Green Cooling scores with the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League Show.
Well, good evening and welcome, good afternoon, good morning, guten Morgen, wherever you're listening to us from, however you absorb us. We are the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League Show. It's episode 36. And thank you ever so much for tuning in each and every single week. My name is Dave Parkinson. I'm alongside Steve Beech. Steve, we're into the real business end of the NCL season, and I tell you what, you can tell why, because I've got my laptop bag ready, I've got my shirt and my tie, I'm ready for business end.
Do you know what? If you're here now, you see Parky has not got a tie on. He's not got a suitcase.
No, that was last season when I wanted a suitcase.
Got to say, we've been waiting 36 weeks to say it's the business end of the season, isn't it?
We have. I think this. Did we not say it last week?
We probably did, actually. But it is.
It's always selective amnesia that does it, though, isn't it, Steve?
It's been tears and tantrums, hasn't it, a little bit now. We're getting to that sort of part of the season where...
Listen, there was no need for you to have a go at me about me trying to fit Bazza into another script.
What was the funniest thing, though?
Oh, you saw it. We was driving back from Doncaster at the weekend, where we'd witnessed the Division 3 promotion final. Yeah. More about that later, by the way. And I get a dig in me ribs because I'm there waiting for results come through as per normal, sort of flicking through Twitter and the like. And he goes, "Here, Dave, look at that van. Tell him, Steve."
And what did it have on? Bazza. There's only one Z, but it definitely said Bazza. I thought, he's been following us for how many miles just to overtake, and Dave wasn't looking at the time. But yeah, as Dave said, we were down or up.
No, it's down.
Oh, Doncaster?
Yeah, it's slightly South Yorkshire.
Yeah, but from where we are, it's up.
It's South Yorkshire.
If you're in Yorkshire, we were down. If you're in Lancashire,
I'm not having that. They are south of us. Surely.
No, the south of Yorkshire.
Hang on. I'm going to decide this. Google Maps is my friend. So
I think they're just northeast of us.
Hang on. It's gone to Hartlepool. That's definitely north. Why have I got Hartlepool in my Google Maps?
I don't know, Parker. You go all over the world in Belgium for a game of rugby.
I mean, I do, but I don't think I've got anything anywhere like that. Anyway, we digress. But I'm still going to find out Google Maps. And if you know when you're listening,
yeah. What did they say?
Doncaster?
Pop it in the comments below.
Pop it in the comments below. There's people shouting at the radio now.
What
are these two? What are these two like? Right, I'm zooming out on Google Maps. I'm zooming out. You continue, Steve.
I'll continue. Nevertheless, it was an absolutely fantastic day. Got to say, as per usual, when we've
actually, Steve, I'm going to give you some credit here.
Oh, I do know my geography.
It's marginally.
That's what I said. It's east, but it's not marginally north. Yeah,
marginally north. I always thought it was further south than that.
There we go. Yeah.
What do I know? I've only been there umpteen times.
For 14 years, you thought Wembley was in France. So let's.
Well, that's because that's
it's south.
Well, that's as well because they serve fish fingers.
Getting back to the rugby, Dave. It was a great day out at Doncaster.
It was a great day.
As per usual, we were. The hospitality was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peter Wayner and his team there. Yeah. They looked after us, couldn't do enough for us, could they? We had the free run of the place.
Yeah, and as a club, it's just gone from strength to strength, hasn't it?
Yeah, delighted to
see that. We could see that.
Delighted to hear about the fact that new clubhouse has ensured the fact that more and more junior players are picking up a rugby ball in Doncaster. It's what we envisaged and what the club envisaged.
Yeah.
And I love to hear those sort of stories. It's been a long time in coming as that clubhouse, but it certainly reinvigorated that club.
Certainly was. And we will get to that, about the more about the game and obviously the day a little bit later on. So where we're starting, Parky? Premier Division?
Yeah, let's start out in the Premier Division. I've got to say, some smashing games. Two brilliant brilliant elimination semi-finals. Of course, the top two, they lie in wait at this moment in time, ready to take on each other on Saturday, for who will go into the National Conference League final. But it's all about who is going to get the chance to play in that. So first of all, we've had the elimination semi-final. So this was third against sixth, fourth against fifth in the league. So we'll talk about West Hull and Rochdale Mayfield first of all. So first of all, Mayfield, what an end of season last month they have had. They have been absolutely brilliant. West Hull, though, although they have struggled with one or two results, coming out with what looks on paper at least to be a resounding victory. They beat Rochdale Mayfield 36 points to 12, with West Hull keeping their championship hopes alive with a strong finish in their first elimination semi-final with a win over Rochdale Mayfield. The Green and Golds were made to work hard and only led by a slender 14-12 advantage 10 minutes into the second half, but they clicked into gear to close the game out with 4 unanswered tries. Elliot Jones was the key, striking twice. I believe it was his 100th appearance for the first team as well. So certainly a game that Elliot Jones is going to remember. Really nice fella, Elliot, as well. I met him a couple of years ago on England Community Lions duty. So fantastic lad. Glad that he's had a great game here. Scored a couple of tries. While Eli Wilkinson capped an excellent individual display with a try and 4 goals. That tallied 16 points. I'm just checking whether my maths is right there. So yeah, fingers and toes. Yeah, everything's in order. Josh Oliver and Kieran Masik also crossed for the hosts, with Tom Verity sealing the victory late on. Mayfield have been competitive throughout, with Jack McConaughey and Ben Metcalf scoring, both of which were converted by Jordan Parr, but lost Devlin Long to a red card for dissent on the final whistle. So, final score in this one, West Hull 36, Rochdale Mayfield 12. Tries for West Hull, 2 of them from Jones, 1 each from Wilkinson, Oliver, Masik and Verity. And then for Mayfield, their try scorers were McConaughey and Metcalf. 4 goals came from the boot of Eli Wilkinson for West Hull, 2 of them from the boot of Parr for Mayfield. And what it does mean is it means that their coaching duo of Sam Wood and Sam Butterworth, they step down now. So they are advertising for new coaches for the first team at Mayfield for next season. Yeah, they've had one heck of a run there.
It's funny you should mention that, Parky, because I saw a post on Facebook and also one on Twitter, because together they've given over 50 years as coaches and many more as a player at Rochdale Mayfield. And it said, your passion, loyalty and love for the game shaped our club. Enjoy retirement. You'll always be Mayfield family.
Brilliant.
And that's excellence, isn't it? And that's what you want at the end of the day. It's not just about the game. You want to win. But at the end of the day, you want to create something that lots and lots of people can be involved in and go through over the years. And like you say, I mean, they've had a bit of an up and down journey, haven't they, this season, Rochdale Mayfield. Come towards the end there. West Hull, though, we've said it all season, they're always going to be in that mix, aren't they?
They are. They're a very, very strong club, and but I suppose as well, again, if I can just echo, if together combined you're giving 25, 50 years of service to one club, that is absolutely amazing. That is brilliant service. And yeah, both of those guys have earned their right to step away in their own time, haven't they, from Rochdale Mayfield. They'll be sadly missed.
They certainly will. And let's move over to the other playoff game, and it was between Waterhead Warriors and Tatterheath Crusaders. And Tatterheath Crusaders claimed a thrilling win, and Waterhead Warriors booked a trip to West Hull in the next stage of the elimination semi-finals. In the contest where the league changed hands 7 times.
What a game that sounds
Waterhead thought they had done enough when Gareth Owen landed a field goal with 10 minutes left, but Jamie Aldroyd struck 5 minutes later. Ryan Norton's 5th goal of the game, sealing it for the Crusaders. Waterhead had been buoyed by Callum Murphy's brace and early tries from Tom Bridge and Scott Parnaby, with Keegan Brennan adding 2 goals. Tato stayed in the hunt thanks to tries from Kai Siani, Ryan Forshaw, Jamie Tracy and Allroyd, both Owen and Allroyd were sin-binned for the use of the knee in a heated battle.
Did we say Tonbridge? Because I believe it should be Timbridge.
Timbridge, it should be,
yeah.
Our Australian friend, isn't it?
That's me. I did the spelling mistake there. I apologise profusely to Waterhead Warriors. Jeff, forgive us. It's been a long season, mate. It's been a long season.
Got to be said, I as per usual, I watched the video of the game that Jeff obviously does. And I'm having a chat with Stuart at the beginning again. But from a game point of view, the weather was absolutely horrendous. We know what it was like for a short spell at the game where we were at.
Yeah.
But it was all the way through. It was really, really heavy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, yes. And so obviously both teams have to play in the same weather, but it just tempers things at a time, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It was a great contest. A few things that were said a little bit later on, you could hear, which were very relevant. And one was obviously, you've got Thatcher East Crusaders who have been there, done it, got the T-shirts, as they say. So they know if they're in the six, they've got the nous and the skills to know how to play playoff rugby. And I think that's what possibly just lacked from the Waterhead Warriors. I think at times they could have controlled, certainly after they got the lead there at the end, could have controlled the game a lot better in other ways.
I think it's a learning curve, though, isn't it? Because, like you say, I mean, playoff rugby is something that you simply can't prepare for.
No.
You've got to actually be in experience and be in that heat of battle, haven't you? Throughout. And listen, you won't find a bigger fan of this Waterhead Warriors story. I mean, they've bounced from the division. They've gone right the way through, haven't they? And they've got within 3 games of a grand final in the National Conference League Premier Division in their very first season. Yeah. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. The club has never played at this level of rugby prior to this season. They've taken to it like a duck to water. It sounds like it was the weather for ducks at the weekend in this semi-final. And I think that they'll be all the better for the experience that they have had, particularly when you take into account that, yes, although they've got a couple of experienced heads, we've got the end of the season. There's obviously players that will retire and will step away from the sport, just like we heard the 2 guys at Rochdale Mayfield doing. But there'll be other guys that come in. There's a whole clutch of young players that are a year further on in their development. I think it's still a great story, aren't they? They're still a magnificent example.
We've heard, and obviously, about possibly Phil Joy hanging up his boots at the end of the season. I'm sure somebody will buy him a new set of boots next season to try and entice him out, because he's had a magnificent season. He's an absolutely gem.
He's had a magnificent spell there, hasn't he? I mean, wonderful. I was going to say advocate for our sport. If you're a young forward and you're coming through, I would say watch these videos of Phil Joy, because that's the way that if you're playing prop forward, that's the way for me as a community player. That's how you should play the game.
And not only that, when you chat to him, he's as humble as you can get, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's as down to earth. There's no edge to him. It's absolutely superb. On the flip side of things, obviously Tatooine, we've said throughout the season, certainly the away form has been at times been absolutely atrocious, but suddenly over the last 4 or 5 weeks they started winning some of those away games and putting things together.
I was chatting to one of the guys that I went on tour with last season on Sunday morning actually. So I was going to another game and he was there, and he was reckoning with who because obviously there was Jamie Tracy went on tour that tour, and he said he's not played most of the season. He's been out injured. He
got injured early doors.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other players as well that have been sort of like the season's been in tatters.
Yeah.
However, they're coming back and they've welcomed some players, so there's some consistency about the side that Mike Woods is able to play at this moment in time, and certainly that consistency is being bore out on the rugby field, isn't it?
Very much so.
I mean, this is a venue, by the way, where Waterhead won the last game between these sides by over 60 points, didn't they? They put 60 points on Thato, which, again, is almost unheard of.
So it just goes to show that if you've got the sort of the smarts, as it were, and you've played that playoff If you get there in that 6, you always know that you've got a chance, as it were. One of the other things I've got to mention is the coaching staff at Waterhead Warriors. We've always had a good chat with them when we've been down there.
Yeah.
Again, absolutely superb guys. I'm really, really, you can see how the lads buy into what they're saying. Again, there's no edge about them. And the club as a whole, again, like Tatooine, they're both two very, very well-run clubs. Obviously, Tatooine have been there and in that Premiership for a while. And I'm sure Waterhead are going to look to do that exactly the same thing.
And I'm going to say something really controversial here.
Oh, here we go. Get ready.
They're both on our right side of the pennant.
You've just said that, and you know where we're going next week.
I do. Fair play to both of these sides. It sounds like they put on an absolute classic in what was shocking weather.
Yeah.
And just run us through who them scorers were for both sides again, would you, Steve?
Yeah, tries for Tatooine were Siani, Forshaw, Tracy, Allroyd, and for Waterhead it was Bridge, Parnaby, Murphy with 2. Goals for Thato were 5 for Horton, and for Waterhead it was Brennan who weighed in with 2 there, and there was a drop goal by Owen, the halfback.
Moving on to Division 1, another drop goal ended up being crucial in this next game that we're going to talk about. So, Wigan St Jude's, they've been flying all season, haven't they? They sealed the Division 1 title with such a hard-fought victory over nearest challengers Heweth. So, they have won the competition, Wigan St Jude's, and Saints got off to a flyer through Connor Parkinson, Danny Fallon converting. Heweth then responded via Liam Richmond's try, which was improved by Callum Rutland. That levelled matters. Jude's then regained the lead before the break, with Elliot Garrido crashing over. Fallon again was on target. The game remained tense, but Fallon's penalty pushed the advantage to 6 points before Dec Parkinson slotted over a late field goal to confirm the title. We turned Australian, we're calling them field goals. I'm going to switch it back and say it's a drop goal. So, a reminder of those scorers for Wigan St Jude's: Connor Parkinson and Elliot Garrido, and then Liam Richmond scored the other try for Heweth. 2 goals from the boot of Fallon, and Rutland adding a goal for Heweth, and then that drop goal, crucial as it was, from Dec Parkinson. Wigan St Jude's 13, Heweth 6. They've been a beacon of consistency all the way through the season, haven't they, St Jude's? 2
good teams, actually.
Two very good teams.
Jude's who've been there, along with Ince Bridge early doors, sort of setting the pace, and Jude's have just kept that pace up and been there and thereabouts. Heweth, as we said early in the piece, were really dark horses, I think, and then started to come to, and toward just halfway through the season, started to put the head above the parapet and became real contenders then. And obviously this could have, if it had gone the other way, it would have been Heweth who would have been champions. So
yeah, it goes down to
real good game.
I mean, promotion still goes down to the final game because Ince Bridge won their game, didn't they, Steve?
That's right, yeah. By 14 points to 14 points to 26 it was. And Ince Bridge, they kept the pressure on the top 2 and dented Egremont's playoff hopes with a solid away win. The Bridge led 18-4 at the break thanks to scores from Byron Aspinall and Boyd Wilson, and a try plus 3 goals from Mason Fillingham. Egremont rallied in the second half, Jack Conway having crossed earlier, before Matt Buser improved tries by Matty Henson and Kian Sharp to close within 4 points. But Jack Berry struck twice in the closing stages to secure the win for Ince. So tries for Egremont came from Conway, Henson and Sharp. For Hints, it was Aspinall, Wilson and Fillingham, and 2 from Berry. Goals for Egremont, Boucher was on hand with 1, and for Ince it was Fillingham who was on hand with 3.
That ends Egremont's hopes of a top 6 spot for this season, but they've secured enough wins to remain within the division and stabilise.
Yeah.
I mean, we must remember they dropped out of the Premier Division last year. They had a record number of injuries. They had so many players come the end of the season that were unavailable, and players that were making themselves unavailable because they had end of season, bits and bats that they were looking to do, and you could understand it.
Yeah.
But so well played Egremont for sort of stabilising things there. And well done to Winterrose Bridge as well. They had that bit of a wobble, but they've managed to sit on the coattails of the top two despite that. And they'll take it to the final game. They've got some heavy scorers there, haven't they, at Ince? We often talk about Fillingham and what a season that he's had, to be fair. I remember speaking to Byron Aspinall before the start of the season and thought, he's a decent player anyway, a lot goes through him. And they're a good side as well, aren't they, Ince Bridge?
Yeah, they know how to play the game, don't they? I mean, the strange thing there is our friend on the wing hasn't scored any tries.
Yes.
I wonder whether he was playing that.
Callum Hughes.
Yeah, Callum. Whether he's playing. If not, all I can say is that
he'd best pull his finger out then.
Yeah, Egremont's kept him quiet.
I thought you was going to say that then. You'd best pull his finger out. Right, moving on. And Oldham St Anne's, they've boosted their playoff hopes with an away win at Shawcross Sharks. So this ended up Oldham St Anne's 36, Shawcross Sharks 24. The visitors stormed into a 20 points to 0 lead with tries from Oliver Byron with 2, Adi Gleeson and Connor Rose before the Sharks reduced the deficit to 20 points to 12 at the break through Max Sheard. We seem to mention him most weeks, don't we? And Finlay Curtis, Evan Stevenson adding conversions for both. The second half saw Josh Tyndall, Joe Hartley and Craig Basnett add further St Anne's tries, with Whitehead kicking 4 goals in total. But Shawcross, they kept battling. Curtis completed his second try and Nathan Wright also crossed, with Stevenson adding 2 more goals. So a reminder of that final score, it finished Oldham St Anne's 36, Shawcross Sharks 24 over there at Shark Park, with Curtis scoring 2 tries, Sheard, Wright scoring for Shawcross, and then for St Anne's there was the scores from Brian with 2, Gleeson, Rose, Tyndall, Hartley and Basnett, with goals split between Stevenson, who kicked 4 for Shawcross, and Whitehead, who added 4 for St Anne's. So, cracking win that for Oldham St Anne's. They're not out of this playoff picture yet.
Yeah.
They're still in with a chance, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, 2 teams there who can cause anybody trouble on the day, can't they?
Oh, they can. Yeah, and they have done over the course of the season. But both of them have pretty good attacking records within the division.
Right, moving on. Crossfields up against Wigan St Pat's, and it was Wigan St Pat's 44, Crossfields 18, and Wigan St Pat's kept the playoff chase alive with a dominant first half display at Crossfields. Pats built a 30 points to 0 lead in the opening 36 minutes thanks to a brace from Lance Wright and further tries from Ronan Bradbury, Anthony Alderson and Jack Sprout, who also kicked 5 goals. Crossfield struck back in the second half though through Jamie Abram, Tom Whitehead, Lewis Stretton and Tom Brown, with Dylan Bradish adding a goal. But Pats remained in charge as Bradley Woolton, Isaac Wheatley and Bradbury again went over. Sprout finished with 6 goals in total. So tries there for Crossfields from Abram, Whitehead, Stretton and Brown. For Pats, it was 2 for Wright, 2 for Bradbury, Atherton, Sprout, Wooten and Wheatley. Goals for Crossfields came 1 for Bradish, but for Pats, it was 6 from Sprout.
He had a good game, didn't he, Sprout? 16 points in total there. And,
we've always been impressed when we've seen him, haven't we?
I like him as a player, mate. He's always there or thereabouts, isn't he? He puts himself in the picture for a lot of breaks and stuff that St Pat's, come up with. That's a good win for him. I know Crossfields are already relegated, but for a lot of the season, they've been quite competitive, haven't they?
There was a spell during just past halfway where you thought, are they going to manage? If they'd strung a couple of results together,
they had a few close losses against them during that period, didn't they?
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, good result that for Wigan St Pat's.
This next one is interesting, isn't it?
Moving on, and this is one that neither of us thought would happen, to be honest, when we spoke last week about this game. Stanningley 8, Alton Raiders 18. Alton Raiders lifting themselves off the foot of their table with a surprise win over Stanningley. Raiders led 12 points to 0 early on through a try and 2 goals from Archie Craggs. Good player. Plus an Adrian Holdsworth touchdown. We spoke to him last season. Veteran.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, the veteran centre. Stanningley's Jack Breyer responding before the break, but Holdsworth's second score, again improved by Craggs, restored the cushion. Breyer added another for Stanningley soon after half-time, but there were no further scores as Alton defended stoutly to claim their 18-8 success. So tries, 2 of them for Stanningley by Breyer, and then for Alton Raiders, it was Holdsworth with 2, Craggs with 2, Craggs coming up with the goals as well. 18 points to 8. Where has that form been for the rest of the season? Who knows? But I'm pleased. I'm pleased to see it. I'm happy to see it, to be honest.
Yeah, very much so. It just shows they've got a bit of fight in them. It's just a little bit of consistency, isn't it?
It is.
And speaking of the same thing, Woolston Rovers took on Kells. And again, this was another which you would have thought would have been a bit of a field day for Kells to a certain degree. But Kells only edged a fiery encounter at Woolston Rovers to complete a Leeds double and move clear off the bottom 2. Grant Genford struck twice. Further tries from Will Ennis and Ashton Sice helped the Cumbrians into a 20 points to 10 lead after the sides had been locked 10-all at the break. Ross Gainford added 2 goals, and Woolston's scores came through Alex Pendlebury, Harry Files and Ryan Brown. Brown converting 2. The contest boiled over late on, with Rovers' Ryan Palin sent off, Files and Jimmy Wallace sin-binned, and Sice dismissed for Kells. Tries came for Woolston from Pendlebury, Files and Brown. For Kells, it was Grant Gainford with 2, Ennis and Sice, and goals for Woolston, 2 for Brown, and for Kells it was 2 from Gainsford. Got to say there, Parky, 16 points to 20 was the final result. Woolston have put some decent performances on come the end of this season.
They have, yeah. It's been very competitive at the wrong end of the season, really, haven't they? You know, which is such a shame that they'll go down and they'll look to rebuild in Division 2. But you know, they've got the personnel still there. I feel at the club to make something.
And obviously, it gives them a chance to try and bring in some of the younger guys as well. Give them a chance to.
And again, a similar sort of story with Kells in the fact that they've sort of stabilised their position within the division. We've seen it happen with clubs before, haven't we, where they've fallen out of the Premier Division and then there's been almost like a domino effect and they've ended up maybe tumbling a division, maybe 2 divisions.
It's so easy.
So, you know, for them to get enough wins on the board as well to, you know, keep them in contention for a lot of the season at the top 6 spot, and you know, to secure their place within the division, it's not to be sniffed at, to be fair.
Yeah, just staying in Division 1 there for a second, Parky. Obviously, right at the top we had Jude's and Newith game. Got to say, really looking forward to seeing Jude's in the Prem next year.
Oh, that will be fantastic. Yeah, they've worked so hard.
Great, really. They're going to be up to stiff competition, much the same as we've been on about Waterhead Warriors. It's a similar sort of story to a certain degree, isn't it?
It is over the last couple of seasons because they've put the form on the board, haven't they, St Jude's? And you know, again, they're a club that has always treated us particularly well. They get what we're about. Looking forward to following them and the Premier Division journey next season. Should be an absolute cracking year in prospect, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right, let's move into Division 2, and this was a bazzer.
It certainly was. It was a shocker by the Dockers.
It was a shock from the Dockers, actually, not a shocker by the Dockers. That's been, unfortunately, the bulk of their season. But They turned it on at home against Clockface Miners. Loose forward Dave Bade was the star of the show. He grabbed a superb hat-trick as Hull Dockers eased themselves off the foot of the table, climbing above Ellenborough Rangers with a shock home win over playoff-bound Clockface Miners. The Green and Whites ended a 6-match losing streak in the process and avenged a heavy 78-12 reversal at Clock earlier in the season. Clock, who had hoped to overhaul local rivals Pilkington Rex for third spot, stay fourth regardless as Pilks secured victory elsewhere. Dockers were fast out of the blocks, opening a 12-0 lead inside the first 12 minutes through Tom Were and Lewis Hill. Both were improved by Ollie Agar. Clock replied with tries from Ben Daniels and Jordan Cresser, with Nathan Benson converting the latter score to close at 12 points to 10. Just before the break, however, Bade powered over for his first try, Agar again on target, and within 7 minutes of the restart, Bade had his second to make it 24 points to 10. Clock's best on the day, Josh Morgan, hit back to keep the visitors in touch, only for Agar to then add a penalty goal. Jack Graham's 70th minute effort, converted by Benson, reduced the gap to 4 points, but the game breaker came 4 minutes from time when Bade completed his hat-trick to secure a morale-boosting victory for Dockers. So a reminder of those scorers. For the Dockers, it was Were, Hill and Bade with 3 tries scoring the touchdowns. Ollie Agar adding 5 from 6 goals. And for Clockface Miners, Daniels, Cresser, Morgan and Graham were the scorers, with Benson hitting 3 goals from 4. There was a late sin bin, by the way, for Clockface Miners when Hardman was temporarily dismissed for dissent.
They'll be kicking themselves Clockface there. I know what it makes me wonder how they treated Old Dockers a bit too lightly. But Old Dockers have got in there and put the points on the board as they set and come away with a great win.
Yeah, and again, I just feel it puts a little bit of a dampener, doesn't it, on how consistent over the course of the season Clockface have been to finish in 4th spot. And the fact that they were again down to the final game chasing 3rd, which anybody would have said that would be a great season comparing the sides which have finished above them.
What they've got to, I suppose, realise from this is, you can't have this sort of complacency in the playoffs, because if you're that complacent in the playoffs, then you're gone. Simple as that. But congratulations to Old Dockers. As I say, on the day they can only play the players in front of them, and they've come away with a great win. Yeah,
so they'll, I suppose, drop into Division 3 next season with the heads held high, won't they? Moving on, Steve.
Yeah, we've got Normanton Knights. Well, they were up against Dewsbury Celtic, and it was Dewsbury Celtic that was victorious. It was Normanton Knights nil, Dewsbury Celtic 58.
Wow.
Second place, Dewsbury Celtic signed off the regular campaign with a stunning 58 points to nil demolition of Normanton Knights, exacting revenge for the narrow 14 points to 12 defeat in the reverse fixture. The visitors were dominant from the outset, running in 10 tries, 3 of them from outstanding fullback Jordan Hurst, who also added 9 goals from his personal tally haul of 30 points. Joe Edwards crossed twice, with further touchdowns from Charlie Heaton, Paul Foulstone, Callum Wilkins, Luke Hurst and Josh Frayne. Celtic were 24-0 up at the break and never let up, while Knights hooker Jack Slater at least impressed despite the heavy defeat. So tries for Celtic were 3 from Hurst, 2 from Edwards, Heaton and Foulstone, and Wilkins all weighing in with 1, along with Hurst and Frayne, and goals 9 out of 10 for Hurst. Massive win that.
Yeah, brilliant effort for Dewsbury Celtic. Another nil. So another side that hasn't been able to score points past them. That's been their real strength this season.
I mean, the 58 is fantastic, but like we say, the bottom line, if you've got a defence to keep people to nil and just to single figures or one score, that is very, very good.
And how often have we been talking about, Jordan Hurst this season? What a player he has proven to be. For Dewsbury Celtic this year. I'm just going to have a dead quick look at where his stats are, for the season, because we've been talking about him every single week. He's got to be up there, hasn't he, as far as Division 2 scorers is concerned. So let's have a look. No, he's not Kieran Brinnan, who is top of the try-scoring charts with 34, by the way. Probably talk a little bit more about him. But Jordan Hurst, 17 tries, 75 goals in 18 appearances. He's had a brilliant all-round season, hasn't he, Jordan?
Yeah. I mean, Dewsbury Celtic, as I say, I've been absolutely superb. Defence-wise, yeah. And the thing is, you don't get as much sort of... not respect, but you don't get as much of the limelight from a defensive point of view. It's all the try scorers.
We love the try scorers.
Yeah,
we do love the try scorers.
Yeah.
We can't. I do anyway. I can't hide away from that. But you've got to acknowledge some really stern defence, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, without that defence, I mean, the try scorers could be, insignificant to a certain degree. But, well done, Dewsbury Celtic, on a massive win against Normanton Knights.
So, moving on, and this is another really top-scoring side, and I think they deserve a little bit more credit this time round, because East Leeds defeated Barrow Island 62 points to 16, and they've grabbed their 21st straight victory. They still have one game to go against already relegated Hull Dockers, but they put Barrow Island to the sword in style. The home side ran in 11 tries in total, doubles coming from Kieran Brinning, said we mentioned him, didn't I? Jordan Russell, Callum Windley and Shane Plunkett, while Luke Littlewood added a try and 7 goals. Further efforts came from Alfie Crawford, Elliot Winley and Logan Roberts. Barrow Island, who had pushed East Leeds close earlier in the year, were competitive early on and briefly levelled up at 6 points each through a Will Hadwin try, which was converted by Carl McBain. Later scores came the way of Ireland through Trent Ruddy and Ollie Holmes to add respectability, with McBain slotting over another goal. But it was East Leeds Day, winning 62 points to 16. So a reminder of those scorers for East Leeds: 2 tries from Brinning, 2 from Russell, 2 from Winley and 2 from Plunkett, 1 each from Littlewood, Crawford, Elliot Winley and Roberts, with Littlewood adding 7 goals for the Barrow Island side. Tries from Hadwin, Ruddy and Holmes. McBain with 2 out of 3 conversions. It's all the more notable for East Leeds this. They've reached 1,000 points that they've scored in the league this year.
Wow.
In 21 games. That is an amazing tally. And I've been going back, someone from the club sent me a message earlier in the week asking me, had there ever been any other, really heavy scorers like that in this division, or in any NCL division? I think they've topped the lot.
That is absolutely unbelievable,
so
isn't it?
East Leeds, a couple of years ago, when they were romping things in Division 3, they did score, I think it was 928 points in that season.
Yeah.
And then there's been other, really high point scoring sides. Waterhead, when they were in Division 2. Last season, Wigan St Jude's when they were in Division 2. However, topping the lot of all of these great sides that have been down the years, as far as I can tell, and I'm waiting to be proven wrong here, so if I am spouting a lot of rubbish, you know what to do. You just add your comment. Yeah. Tell me that I'm talking rubbish, but I don't think there's another NCL side that scored 1,000 points in a season in league games.
Well, if you break that down, they've actually won each game. If you look at it from even now, it's 47.5 points per game, or 47.6 points per game.
Wow,
that is every game. That's against, obviously, you sort of your hard sides and your easy sides. That's what it would have been. Obviously, I know in there they've had about 3, if not 4, set up 70 points plus games.
Yeah.
But like we were on about before, you only can play what's in front of you and score the points. You
can, and it's a real notable achievement, that, isn't it? So, we said about the defence of Dewsbury Celtic. So do your similar calculation, because Dewsbury Celtic have only conceded 174 points in their 21 games this season, which is a phenomenal effort.
174 by 21 equals...
Come on.
8.2.
Wow. Any other season, if you're only conceding 8 points a game, you're winning that championship, aren't you?
Yeah.
But East Leeds have had a bit. We've said it before. They've been in a league of their own. Well done to everybody concerned in what has been an outstanding season. I still can't get over the fact that they've scored 1,000 points in 21 games. That is so phenomenal.
And those two teams that were on about there, Dewsbury Celtic and East Leeds, again, like I said about Jude's going into the Premiership, it's nice to see that obviously they're going to be up against sterner opposition, but it's going to be great to see how they
it will be.
What a cope against
what a story next season could turn into as well. I'm whetting my appetite, and we've not finished this season yet, even though we are at the business end, I must remind you.
Yep, the business end. Have you got any business cards? No,
what's the business end?
Anyway,
I'll get in Canva.
Pilks Rex, they had one of the journeys all the way up to Cumbria, and they were obviously guaranteed third spot, and they were up against Ellenborough Rangers.
Only 3.5 hours. Nothing.
Only, it's a long walk, and buses don't run regular. After a scoreless first half, Jamie Smith broke the deadlock shortly after the restart, converted by Josh O'Connell, and Callum Derrick added the second try late on before Ben O'Connell sealed victory with the last-minute effort. Ellenborough battled gamely with Rocco Ocassini prominence, but it ended the season bottom of the table. So tries there came from Jamie Smith, Callum Derrick, and also from Ben O'Connell, and Josh O'Connell was on hand with the one solitary kick out of 3. So it was Ellenborough Rangers 0, Piltrex 14. And that is how you do it, isn't it? It's a long way to go. You concentrate on your opponents and you come away with a win. And that stood you in good stead.
Big defensive effort, that.
It is.
And again, talking and beginning to hold a Cumbrian side to 0 on their own pitch, that doesn't happen that often.
Once I thought so, no.
And I know that Ellenborough Rangers have struggled a little bit this season, to name a consistent side with all kinds of other things going on, with their players. However, you've still got, as I say, you said it before, you've still got to beat what's in front of you. That's a real good performance on the road, that from Pilks.
It is, and
put them in real good stead, that.
I was just going to say that I'll take that into the playoffs. They'll do really, really good.
Another side that is approaching the playoffs in fairly good nick is Hensingham. So they had the opposite result. So Hensingham avenged their narrow defeat at Driglington earlier in the season with a resounding 40-0 home success. Jay Wetherill, who has spent the season at Whitehaven, he grabbed a brace of scores, while Luke Charlton, John Carrick, Noel Braithwaite, Dylan Bragg and Miller Dalton also crossed. Adam Williamson kicked 5 goals, with Josh Rogerson also adding another. So a reminder of those tries for Hensingham: Wetherill with 2, Charlton, Carrick, Braithwaite, Bragg and Dalton with goals split between Williamson with 5, Rogerson with 1. I feel at times they've gone a little bit under the radar with us, haven't they, Hensingham?
Yeah.
But what a season they've had. I mean, let's be honest, they were promoted from Division 3 last year, weren't they?
That's right, because remember, didn't we cover them against Bentley?
We did,
yeah.
So that just shows about how, if you can be very competitive, win the majority of your home matches, which is what Hensingham had done, you stand every chance of being, in the playoff positions. And for me, they've done a tremendous job. They've set up a game at Clock Face, which is interesting.
That should be an interesting one, because I think they played each other. Did play each other last week?
They did. It was very narrow, wasn't it? From what I remember of the scoreline there.
That's going to be a good contest. And then we had Skirler, who were up against Thornhill Trojans, and Skirler closed their season on a high with a 26-16 win over already relegated Thornhill Trojans. Ross Kemp, no, I'm not doing the voice, crossed twice, and with further tries from Keegan Foster and George Power, while Kieran Smith added a try and 3 goals. Trojans responded with efforts from Callum Gamble, Ryan Mitchell and Harvey Roberts, one of which was improved by Sam Ratcliffe. So tries for Skirler, 2 from Kemp, 1 from Foster, Power and Smith. Smith kicking 3 from 5 goals. For Thornhill, Gamble, Mitchell and Roberts were on hand with tries, and Ratcliffe was successful with 1 goal out of 3.
Special mention here for Skirler, because early on in the season they looked odds on like they were going to drop out of this Division 2. And like I said, they've, just about ridden the race of their lives, haven't they? Because they were at risk of falling 2 divisions in 2 seasons and tumbling. And I'm really glad that they haven't. They're a good club. We spoke to people that have been involved there over the last couple of years, particularly when they were in Division 1. I'm really pleased that they've got enough wins on the board to stay within the division. Commiserations to Thornhill Trojans, because I did think when I saw them a few weeks ago and the effort that they put in at Clockface, I thought they might have had enough to get away from the bottom end of the table, but it wasn't to be. And they are a side that has dropped successively in the last few seasons, so they'll start off the Dewsbury side in Division 3 next year.
Yeah, and obviously last week when we were talking about Thornhill, I was mentioning that I was watching Educating Yorkshire.
Oh yeah, tell us more. Have you been watching more?
Watching again this week, and this week it was even more interesting, because there's me thinking, Thornhill, got to mention the Trojans, Anyway, highlight this week on one young lad who's a rugby player. Actually, he's on academy with Bradford Bulls, and he was being sort of acting up at school, and basically was told if he doesn't pull himself together, they would have a word with his academy coaches and just tell him what he's being like at school. He did pull himself together, and he was forward for one of the Welsh trials. And he was successful, which he was made up about. But obviously, I thought, if he must have played for Thornhill, because the school is in Thornhill. Okay. And he showed him walking into school with a bob hat on, and I'm looking at him thinking, that's a maroon coloured hat that we got with gold and maroon. I thought, is it Huddersfield cap that he's got on, bob hat that he's gone? As he got closer and he passed the camera, Dewsbury Moor Maroons.
Ooh, yes. Have a word, Trojans. Have a word. Fair play to that. I love the fact that this show that you're watching has some rugby league connections.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, and the beauty of it was the amount of times they spoke to him about rugby as well. In it, they never just said rugby. They always said rugby league. Now that just might just be a small thing to some people, but when the amount of people that watch this, because last time it on, it's quite well known for some of the things they have done in the past, and slightly diverse things that they do and approaches to things. So it gets quite a big audience. So I was really pleased at the fact that the elders who spoke to him always called it rugby league and not just rugby. I thought 10 out of 10 for that, and it'd be interesting to see, and I hope at some point they follow his journey, certainly the rugby journey as well, because he showed him training as well one night with the out
of interest, was that shot this year?
I think it's over 12 months, so he will be 12 months on now. I think he was in year 10.
Okay.
So he'll be a year further.
So he'll be a scholarship player rather than an academy player.
He would have been a scholarship, he will.
He might be an academy player now.
Could well be.
He might be back with Dewsbury Moor. We might be commentating on him.
Yeah.
We might be commentating on him next season.
Yeah. But,
who knows?
That was great to see, I must admit. And we'll tell you next week, in next week's episode, what goes on.
Yeah, I want more. I'm missing me. I could miss me regular dose of, what's happening at Thornhill School.
It's like real life Emmerdale. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's really good. Man, that's Channel 5, isn't it? Everything Yorkshire's on Channel 5.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why they call it. Just call it Yorkshire Channel.
Yeah, they could do Yorkshire Channel.
Yeah,
Yorkshire TV. It's great. It's better than rest.
So where does that leave us, Parky?
Well, it leaves us in Yorkshire. That's where it leaves us.
It certainly does, because that's where we were, weren't we?
And we've headed to the south of that county. Although, like you said, it's just north of where we are. You're never going to let me live that down. Nope. He's looking at me with a great big grin on his face now. So obviously Steve knows he's South Yorkshire better than I do. So we went over to Bentley, didn't we? As we've mentioned before, brilliant host. They hosted Leigh East in the Division 3 promotion final. Leigh East have got to this final dance once before in 2023. They've gone close to, getting up from this division a couple of times in that process. They actually got relegated to this division at the end of 2018, Steve.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time that they have been in
what's
this
that,
bottom
7 years,
division.
isn't it?
7 years. And we were there at Bentley. Could it be Bentley who got promoted, or was it going to be Leigh East? They're coming out to a flare welcome. So there's blue and yellow flares that have been set off as the players are walking out.
Excellent.
You know what? I feel like I'm at Leigh Sports Village. There was all this sort of stuff going on every single game. Good atmosphere, plenty of people on the terrace opposite us in front of the brand new clubhouse. But we're right at the start of this game. Adam Holland, to get us underway, sends the kick-off for Craswell, handing on to Jordan Middleton. That's Ryan Craswell. Into dummy half goes Smith. He'll link it left to Craswell. Short ball to Thompson. Thompson through. They've opened the scoring. They've threatened this a couple of times, and he's come in with a fantastic line there as Thompson, and he opens the scoring sheet. Kieran Lewis looking to convert just to the left of the post. Steps up now and adds the conversion. 6 points to 0. Dummy from Sykes, who brings it back out to the right, slips one tackle, does a little tap and a little swerve here. Goes again. Can he reach the line? He's offloaded. Flounders for the line. I think they've opened the scoring in the second half. That is a great bit of play from Sykes. He had no right to get through.
Poor tackling there, Parker. Should have been wrapped up and that shouldn't have been able to get a ball out, but he did. Someone was there to support.
It was a wiggle of the hips and it just took him through. Flounders in support, and that's put Bentley in a really strong position at the start of the second half, leading by 10 points to 0.
And Craswell looking to add the extras here. Setting the ball up, taking his time. A couple of steps out to the left hand side. Just weighing things up.
Strikes it
right
well
down the middle.
That's a good strike. 12 points to 0 in favour of Bentley. Royal tackled. There was 3 or 4 players there from an East point of view. The ball has gone loose. There's a penalty here. A penalty being won, and it's won by Royal. This penalty directly in front of the posts. We're on how many minutes, Steve?
We have 13 minutes in the second half, Parker.
I'm that confident. I'm already marking it down for Ryan Craswell, and this will make it 14 points to 0 to Bentley. Steps up. That kick has found the railway line as well.
Yeah, getting that one back.
LNER, please come here, half ball back. Helm at dummy half, puts it right. Holland diving. Holland for the line, and he's made it. Leigh East scores. They're on the board. Adam Holland, just his second try of the season. Is there a more important score that he'll come up with? It's 14-4, lots and lots of work to do, but East have given themselves an opportunity with 58 minutes gone.
Adam Holland settling himself down, one step back, comes forward,
strikes it,
and he's got it.
14 points to 6. Holland out to Helm out to Prescott further wide. They've got options here. Has he gone in? Yes, he has. He's Aspinall.
Certainly has.
Matty Aspinall touching down on that right hand side. 14-10 kick to come. Who finds Holland, who spins it out to Elts across. They'll feed it out, and there's Cam Clark has scored. The try is awarded. Just that spinning work down the right hand side. There's bodies that are flown onto the field. You've pointed out that we're into stoppage time at the end of this game, are we?
Now we've still got about 3 minutes before Parkinson.
3 minutes remaining. But Leigh East have gone in front for the very first time in this game. 77 minutes.
So again, another difficult kick out on that touchline, but we've seen what he did earlier on. Is it Holland again? Dave, can you see from that side?
Yes, it is, Adam.
Yeah.
Holland scored more than 1,000 points for Leigh East. He's had a lengthy career with them. Out on the right side, strikes it. Has he given it chances? It's a brilliant kick.
He has.
14-18 to Leigh East. What a kick. Cometh the hour, cometh the Holland.
Will he go short?
He's got to go sharp. He can't do anything else but put it sharp. In fact, we could end up in direct line here, to be honest. I'm getting behind our
this
table.
This could go flat on the floor towards the touchline.
Oh, he sent it
long.
Oh,
is it?
I'm surprised at that, but he's gone for the background. Has he kicked it out on the full? He's kicked it out on the full. So it's going to be a penalty on the halfway line to Leigh East. And with that, I feel goes one of the final chances that Bentley are going to get.
I was surprised he took that option, Parker.
Yeah,
I thought the short one.
Or like you said, get a touchline.
Yeah.
10 metres out from the line. Last tackle signalled here. Where's this going? It's going to the left to Adam Holland. Holland takes it right in. Takes it right in. Takes it over the line. Oh, if it wasn't promotion before, it's promotion now for Leigh East. Adam Holland. He has come up with an absolute brilliant bit of play there on the left-hand side. He shimmied and the little hips still carried him in.
Parky, he showed it left, he showed it right. He saw the gap, he went through it, he's gone in and he sealed it.
In he steps now, Holland. Always give that chances again. Oh, just wide. 22 points to 14. So Holland takes it to the line. Offloads. They've lost the ball. Crosswell back in field. Goes to ground. Picked up by Water. Referees whistle sounds. Leigh East celebrate. They have won promotion. I think there's a couple of the junior players that have followed the team as well. They've dived off onto the field. There's a huge melee in front of us. It's a delightful one as far as Leigh East are concerned. There is red and black all over the place. And Leigh East are promoted.
Green Cooling keeps the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League show cool, even when tackles get heated.
Got to say, Parky, that encapsulated what that game was like, wasn't it? It was unbelievable.
How awesome did that atmosphere set behind us?
I'll tell you, you can guess which side we were stood on, can't you?
I've been in like 15,000 crowds this year, in Rugby League. I don't think I've had a louder atmosphere than that. Mind you, I don't think they were all behind me, sort of shouting.
Yeah. But for both sides, for both teams, the support was really, really good.
I guess if we'd set up on the opposite side, we would have got exactly the same, wouldn't we?
It was, and a credit to both sides. I mean, as much to do with boisterous, and there was a little choice language.
A little bit of language.
It was all passion, and
it was industrial.
On the side to win. Great game. The game was played in really good spirits.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been commenting on the last couple of weeks about the reviews we've been doing and how many players have been sin-binned or sent off.
Yeah, a few this week as well.
I think there was one coming together where there was a bit of frustration near the end, which is understandable. But at the end of it, do you know what, Parker? When you look at it, Bentley, you've got to I felt so sorry for them. I mean, because when you look at it logically, they only missed actually getting second place by points difference. And it wasn't much, and then obviously they've had that first win there against Featherstone Lions. But as I say, I just had this feeling that Leigh East were on the roll there from when they beat Featherstone Lions. And when you look at it logically, they had the three teams above them at the time to play. They played Featherstone Lions, so that swapped them round in the positions. But they still then had to go on against Myton Warriors and then against Bentley.
You win it the hard way, don't you? If you finish in 5th or 6th, and to be fair, you deserve to go up if you're winning it from 5th to 6th.
But the other thing proves that it can be done. So in any of these divisions, if you're not on your game and you take the team below you lightly, that is a good, sort of warning.
It's a barometer,
to you. It is, yeah. And it was both sides played really, really well. First sort of 10 minutes of the first half was all Leigh East, and the pace they come out with. We said at the time during commentary, the only downside to it was they didn't come away with enough points. In fact, they came with anybody.
Did they? They had a try disallowed in the corner.
Yeah. But then Bentley got in the stride and took control and did control the game really, really well for 55 minutes or so.
And arguably, they didn't get enough points on the board. So, on the balance of how play was in the first half, Bentley deserved more than 6 points to nil advantage, but it was just one of those where it was nip and tuck. I thought the way that they started the second half was brilliant, to be honest.
And I think that's where we thought, do you know what, they've scored at the end here, they've scored at the beginning. They're really tightening the grip, and then they got the penalty, which just
edged them a
little bit of more momentum.
I've got to say, I thought that Ben Sykes didn't deserve to be on the losing side. The full-back for Bentley, he had a brilliant game. Tom Flounders as well was excellent in the back row. Ryan Craswell, when he played off the bench, was a settling influence throughout.
Very much.
Very good player. But then, I think I coined that phrase, didn't I? Cometh the hour, cometh the Holland.
And it's strange there, because obviously I put that piece together out of our commentary.
He was magnificent.
He was in everything, wasn't he?
He was magnificent.
Everything that was, sort of important to Leigh East, he was in it. And I said in comments, what you got to realise, he lost his half partner. Is it Kai O'Brien?
Kai O'Brien, yeah.
It must have been halfway through the first half. Might not even been halfway.
Yeah, I think he was only after about 15 minutes.
And I know when I saw him play against Featherstone, he was instrumental in a lot of things. And I thought, are they going to miss him? But no, Holland stood up absolutely superbly there. Some of his goal kicks from the touchlines were absolutely unbelievable.
They were belters, weren't
they? Well,
they?
normally I wouldn't put the goal kicks in a piece where we've done, because no disrespect, I don't think there's a lot of games where we've done where they've been that important. Mm-hmm. But all the way throughout that, even the penalty that Bentley got, it was an important penalty at the time. It just pushed them that little bit further, and you thought, do you know what, this is going to be? Is it going to be too far for Leigh East? But they got on that momentum train, and woof, off they went. Got to say again. On the left-hand side was Cottle and Marcus Mercer. Absolutely superb. Made some good. But do you know what? I can't criticise any of the players on both sides, because they give it. Like we said at the time, or you said at the time. It's the last game of the season.
They left it all out there.
They did.
They left it all out there.
Yeah.
I thought that. Yeah, it was. It was. It was a humdinger of a game, really. I really, really enjoyed that.
And another thing I did like as well was Prescott, full-back for East Leeds. When the whistle went...
East Leeds?
Sorry for...
Have you transferred him?
Leigh East.
Is that an exclusive, Steve? What have you heard? Do I need to get on to East Leeds?
He was saying... now, I've got to say, as the whistle went, obviously, everybody from Leigh East were celebrating the medal. And he was going over to the lads who were down from the Bentley side, going over and shaking hands straight away, which I thought was absolute class. Yeah, absolute class. Only one downside, wasn't there, Parky, to the day, we thought?
There was. I'll let you describe that one.
Yeah, well, it was... I mean, we cover so many games, and we talk about that when we get to the lower teams to a certain extent, they always seem shy of having touch judges. And there were no judges for this game, which I thought for a final, which was so important. I thought at the time, was disrespectful to that actual game, because there was one point where there was a try which was disallowed for Cottle in the first half, and the referee actually went over to ask the Bentley side, was he in touch? I mean, that's not, and this is not a dig at the referee. The referee, at the end of the day, can only do what he can do, but he shouldn't have to be put in that position. So I know, Dave, you've asked a question as to why there wasn't any touch judges at the game, and I believe you've got a reply, haven't you?
I did, yeah. So the email that I wrote was to NCL chair Mike Denning, and I said, "Hi Mike, hope you're well. Just returning from Bentley, the promotion final between Bentley and Leigh East, and I'm disappointed to report that there was only the match official and no touch judges. I thought the referee Simeon Kwambi had a good game,
which he did,
but could have been helped with extra support." So Mike, to his credit, referred this on to none other than Ben Taylor at the RFL. And Ben has replied, "Morning, Mike. I was there. It was a great game. Sadly, it was only brought to my attention at 1:45 p.m. on my way to the game that there were no touch judges appointed. There was clearly a breakdown in communications between the admin team and the appointments officers who appoint touch judges. I was told the issue was that there were finals of both girls and boys at Featherstone and Batley at the same time, but agree with Dave's comments. Thankfully, it didn't affect the results of the game. It is an admin error, and I agree this isn't good enough. Cheers, Ben." So, I admire Ben Thaler for
stood up to the plate,
standing up to that,
yeah.
and giving that response. It was disappointing. I admit that it's disappointing, but and hopefully we don't see a repeat of that for the rest of the playoffs. That's what my big hope is, because we're not going to be at every single game, are we? To be fair. So I can't report this every single game, which I would love to be in a position to do so. But, there's some responsibility there, and hopefully we get finals, we get semi-finals, we get knockout games that do have a full array of match officials. Because let's be honest, it's a big game for them as well, isn't it?
I was just going to say, it's a big game for them. For the two teams that are involved, when we're talking about a sport which it's not a paid sport, they do it before the love of the game. They played 21 matches or however throughout the season to get to that position. If there was an incident that was missed or because there was no touch judges, that would have been really, really sad, I've got to say. And the other thing is that we've seen it where you can get... It was a good crowd. Unfortunately, it was a good crowd. But we've seen it where you can get crowds that can be quite volatile. And it can sort of boil over to a certain extent, and it could have only taken something as simple as like we say, he's in touch and he's not. How could you see that type of thing? But yes, as you said, the referee was excellent.
He did. He had a great game, did Simeon. So well played. Well played.
And we mentioned through in commentary again, there was a lot of times where. On both sides, they stole a little bit, a couple of yards, and he'd send them back.
He was really consistent on that, wasn't he?
Absolutely nailed on consistent. I thought the game as a whole, the day as a whole, apart from the biblically proportioned rain at the beginning, which was absolutely superb. But
it sounds like
enjoyed it again.
At least we didn't get what was at Waterhead.
Oh no, the Waterhead was biblical.
Pack your snorkel for the weekend.
Is it going to rain at weekend?
I believe it is.
Right.
I believe it is, yeah. But big coats at the ready as well. We're ready into proper autumn now, Steve.
And the other thing as well, are we going to look at those benches that we're looking at? Where they have the nice cover and you can, the collapsible ones.
Maybe for next season. I don't think it's going to get here from Timu in time, unfortunately.
But commiserations to Bentley, as I say. I mean, I genuinely felt sorry for him.
And fantastic hosts.
Yeah, they were. And took it really well at the end when we was chatting to them. They'll be there again next season.
I'm confident.
And they'll learned a lot from just missing out on points difference though to actually go up automatically. And then for that to happen. But congratulations to Leigh East.
As you can imagine, Steve, it was quite difficult to get some reaction from Bentley post-match. So we do have a bit of winning reaction, though, to come. I want to first of all introduce none other than Lewis Elts.
Okay, I'm alongside Lewis Elts. This one has been such a long time in coming.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Finally winning promotion. What a game as well.
Feels good, mate. Past 3-4 years we've been getting to finals and just not quite getting there, and to come back like we did and nick it at the end.
I mean, what a second half. I mean, what was she thinking when they went 14-0 up and then suddenly hit back?
Well, they went 14-0 up and we sort of knew, because we were a big set in the middle. Towards the end of the game they were going to fade away. And to be fair, they stuck into the last 10 minutes and we just started finding gaps and getting second phase play, and then we just got it to a corner and Matty Ash works his magic, and before we know it, in front, went our way.
I mean, unbelievable finish. Yeah. I've got to say as well, I mean, Adam Holland as well, doing Adam Holland things.
Oh, at 35-year-old, kicking them from all over the show, scoring. If he was a little bit faster, he could have had about 3 tries, but nah, at least 7, his dad says.
What does this mean to you? Because obviously, you've been involved for East, far longer than my involvement prior, and I know how hard that you've worked. Yeah.
Well, I've been around Open Age 10 years now, and it's been tough, but I feel like we've got a good set of lads together now. We're all young. Well, some of us are young. I'm not young anymore, but...
You're still lucky, mate.
Yeah, but we're ready to go. Get us in Div 2, we'll go again.
Obviously, you've got a big night of celebration in front of you. You don't want to think about Division 2 just now.
No,
but obviously, it's a place where you've been before. Yeah. It's a place where you can thrive again, isn't it?
I say this all the time. This Division 3 is tough because you're travelling all over the show, and then the new teams get feeding in. It's tougher than people think. And it's just about getting out of this division, and then we can kick on from that. But yeah, I'm not looking past tonight, to be honest.
Lewis, I thank you so much for joining me.
Cheers, mate,
I'll go and let you enjoy it, and thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Cheers, Dave. Thanks.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.
You know what, Steve? I genuinely enjoyed that interview because, you may have heard, and I'm not really hidden behind it, but I did spend several seasons involved at Leigh East.
Yeah.
And then when the NCL came and asked me to get involved with them, I thought it would only be the right thing to step away from that club because I didn't want anybody just accusing me of any bias.
Yeah.
But I found that strangely emotional, I suppose, in some respects, to listen back to because I've seen how much Lewis and other players have put into it. I've seen them sort of go through the hardships of getting relegated. And again, that was a season where it didn't feel like they should have got relegated. Yeah. But, obviously, if you get relegated, you deserve to go down. Yeah, we've said this throughout with National Conference League. But they had a similar sort of season where they had a lot of games where they couldn't get a win. And they were all losses. Now, at least they seem to have, if they've won 9 and lost 9 over the course of the season, yes, they've still got a few losses in them. However, they've managed to turn some of those results that were going against them into wins. I'm really delighted for him, because he is a top competitor, a fantastic fella, someone that I hold a lot of respect for at Leigh East. And, yeah, it made me quite emotional listening to that back. I didn't think it would have that sort of effect, I've got to be honest, because I really enjoyed the interview.
Yeah, the other thing, Parky, what it does stand them in good stead, and like we mentioned a bit earlier on, if you're in 5th and you've come and you've done that if you're moving up, we spoke about it with Waterhead Warriors and Thatcherheath, and Thatcherheath having the smarts of playoff rugby. Mm-hmm. That in the bank now for Leigh East. I mean, they will know, hang on, we can do this.
They can dip into the memory bank, can't they? It's recent memory bank and muscle memory for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
and it was interesting that they knew that Bentley would probably tire in towards that second half. I know it's always a gamble, but at least they've backed themselves, and when they've seen that, they've stepped on the gas. And we said it, the first 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and the last 10-15 minutes, they were at their best. And first half they didn't come away with anything, but they certainly made hay while the sun shone.
I'm going to drop a big name here, to be honest. Yeah. So get ready to pick it up off the floor.
Yep.
Remember once having a chat with none other than Ian Millward.
Oh, yeah.
You might have heard of him.
I might have heard of him, yeah.
He won 1 or 2 things with St Helens on Leigh.
Yeah.
But I remember having a chat with him a few years ago when he came back to Leigh, and he was describing rugby league games being like peaks and troughs throughout, and the key is to be at your best in your peaks, and then when you have your trough in a game, that you don't concede so many points. And that bore it out, really, didn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it was great. As a, we're there as neutrals at the end of the day. We enjoy the game, and we always say that no matter who's playing, and we'll call it as we see it. And it was a great game to call. Really, really was it. And if That's all I can say is all the other finals that are going to be on this at the end of this year.
They're going to have to live up to it.
If they're as good as that, then we've got a cracking finish to the season. Got to say,
3 Bazzers. Was that a Bazzer?
3 Bazzers.
Was that a Bazzer?
Is that a pub name?
Was that a Bazzer?
No, I'm not. Let's move on.
Come on, was that a Bazzer?
Let's move on, Barky, now.
Right, let's have a little bit more reaction, shall we? And I caught up with try scorer Cam Clark after the game.
Okay, I'm really pleased to be alongside Cam Clark. Cam, got to say, what was that game like to play in? You've just beaten Bentley 22-14, promoted to Division 2.
I think it was a game of 2 halves. Old cliche, 6-0, going in at half-time into the sheds and thinking, it's an hard do this. But you know what? 7 years I think it's been since we've been promoted, since we've been in that league. So I think it's been absolutely amazing. We've shown a lot of grit there. To come back out the second half. We went down again in the second half, but to come back from 14-0, I think it's absolutely fantastic. It shows what we're about as a club.
Yeah, to be fair, after 55 minutes, they're 14-0 up and they're looking good for it.
Yeah, they are.
And then you found like an extra gear from somewhere. The ball suddenly started whizzing out to both sides of the field.
Yeah.
And Matty goes over for that first try. Adam Holland steps up and comes up doing Adam Hollandy things.
Yeah. It's playing with Adam. He's an absolute stalwart. He is Leigh East through and through, and we all look up to him. And this start of this year, we looked at him and thought, he's what we want to do and where we want to be. And for him today to go over like that and only miss 1 kick, it just shows how much he loves this club. So to play with somebody like that is absolutely unreal.
Because he's come back, hasn't he? Because he's hardly played over the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, he has, but he did his ACL. He's playing with no ACL now, Joe, and that just shows what character he is and what the club means to Adam Holland. So, this is what the club's all about, and it's absolutely amazing.
I've got to ask about your development as well, because during my last involvement at East, you're running around at centre. I thought you were set for going in the second row, and you've moved out. You've gained a bit more pace, mate.
Yeah, well, I just play wherever Martin puts me to play. So I do anything for the club. I'll put a shirt on in any position, and that's what we're all about. Anybody will do a shift anywhere, and that's Leigh East at the end of the day.
I know you're going to enjoy tonight. As you say, it's been a long time in coming, this one. Quick thought about finally getting out of this division.
It's an hard division to get out of, Dave. You get clubs coming out of the Yorkshire League, the Cumbria League, and then they come in to prove a point. And you look at teams like Keighley have been phenomenal this year, coming into their first year, and they've gone straight up. Saddleworth coming down, they've gone back up. It's tough competition, but for us to get out of this league now, I think next season we'll kick on and we'll get going straight back up to the top.
I'll go and let you enjoy this one, Cam. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate it.
From players, referees and competitions to clubs and playing fields, we talk about the lot on the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League show.
Yeah, Cam Clark there talking to Parky, of course. Got to say, Parky, the game that they played, like I was saying when they played Featherstone Lions, he's integral to that type of player because he can't half finish, and as you say, he has got some pace about him, hasn't he?
He certainly has, yeah, and he always threatened to have that pace, but I thought just with his size, he was set for moving in. It's very rare that you find players who move out the further that they go on, but obviously Martin Roden, the head coach of Leigh East, has spotted something there. I wanted him to work at it, and yeah, he's had a great season, to be honest. I think he's top try scorer for East this year.
Yeah, and you can see why. But the style of rugby that they play, I was very surprised how they managed to sort of slip into that gear later on, especially without Kai O'Brien being there. I thought they're going to struggle because he's a good playmaker and dictates things.
And there was a few other players that were struggling. Special mention for Conor Graney because he dragged himself off the floor a couple of times in that game where you just thought he's not going to play anymore.
He went off at one point on his hands and knees. He actually crawled to the touchline, and then two guys came on and had to help him over. And then he went back on later on. And he's another one who's had an absolutely mint season.
And when you hear stories like Adam Holland being out for such a long time with an NCL injury. I've been saying NCL a lot. With an ACL injury.
Yeah.
And then you hear Cam describing that he's playing virtually without an ACL these days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some commitment.
Yeah.
That is some commitment, and you can see why he's well loved by his teammates and why they respect him so much, can't you?
Yeah, certainly. It seems to say that you can't speak highly enough about that game. Really enjoyed the day as a whole. I really enjoyed calling the match. The atmosphere was fantastic. Obviously, the Bash Street kids behind us with the drum beating away supportingly, and up, let me say, over on the far side, the support that Bentley had over there as well. As a day as a whole, hats off to them all, and thanks very much for the hospitality, and obviously, hopefully we'll try and get back again, not too long.
Yeah, not too long. We'll look and see how the fixture angels, what they can set for next season, shall we? Talking about fixtures, and of course we are at the business end.
There's still some business to be had.
There is still some business to be had, and there's us to talk about the next game that we're going to be covering. And again, really delighted to be spreading our wings somewhat. We're heading over to Siddle at the weekend, so this is the National Conference League Premier Division qualifying semi-final. It's between Siddle and West Bowling. Winner straight through to the grand final, and that game at Featherstone on the 4th of October. This is going to be something a little bit special, I feel.
Yeah, certainly is, because the two teams who are playing really good rugby, Siddle all season have had, basically finished off where they ended last season, didn't they? The problem last season was the final, and how are they going to, are they going to put that behind them and manage to get past West Bowling? Because West Bowling, they've had a really good season too, and really come. And for me, West Bowling are a good flagship for Waterhead Warriors to look at, because I look at them and they look very similar. Obviously we've followed West Bowling for a couple of seasons now, and sort of kept our eye on them, and always said that they're just thereabout, and this season they've got it all together. This is going to be a very close game. It
is. I'm delighted that this is the next game that we're going to be calling as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I always sound like I always feel like I'm announcing something like Eurovision or something when I go,
It's much better than that. Trust me.
This is Siddle calling.
Yeah.
This is Siddle calling. But no, in all seriousness, can you believe I've never been to Siddle?
I know, we've spoke about this before, haven't we?
And you've never covered West Bowling?
No, never covered West Bowling. Got to say about Siddle, if you remember, we were speaking about them, or we were chatting to, it might have been their coach a couple of seasons back, and we were, it was their chairman, I think. We were on about their pitch, because we were comparing it to Thatcherheath, comparing the two clubs, weren't we, and how they are. And they were saying they'd had funding to help them with their pitch, etc. So it's going to be great to go down and see the facilities and see. Hopefully, it's going to be a cracking game.
Yeah, so that's us over at Chevron Edge. If you are going to this game, quick notice that it is actually a 1 o'clock kickoff. So that's one to set your clocks by. So don't turn up at 2:30. You'll have missed most of the action. You just might catch the last 10 minutes of the game. Make sure that you're in nice and early. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Right, what else is happening elsewhere? Well, there's an elimination semi-final happening. One of these teams will continue on in their season, and one of them will go home. It's West Hull against Thatcherheath Crusaders. Who's winning this one, Steve? It's a good one. It's another good one.
It is. Again, it's tough to call. Thatcherheath, I would say, they started to get together away. It depends what team they can get together. If they've got the team that played against Waterhead Warriors, then it's going to be very close. I would just edge West Hill at home, to be fair.
I mean, when these two sides last met over at Thatto, you was there, wasn't you? And this was a particularly close game as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I just think that home advantage. But saying, we were chatting off her before we came on about Thatcherheath have started to get some players back now. So
they're looking good at this minute in time. And like you said, and you've said earlier in the show, they've got playoff experience. I know West Hull's got playoff experience in the bank as well. It's a Titanic game, that one, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah.
Belter. Division 1. The last round of fixtures, we've got Heworth at home to Woolston Rovers, we've got Introse Bridge at home to Crossfields, we've got Kells at home to Shawcross Sharks, Wigan St Jude's going away to Oldham St Anne's, Egremont Rangers away at Alton Raiders, and Stanley travelling over to Wigan at St Pat's. Let's just pick out this one. So we do know a win for basically Introse Bridge need to better the result that Heworth get.
Right.
So if Heworth win, they can't be overtaken,
yeah,
and they'll get promoted. However, if Woolston Rovers can come up with what would be a brilliant result for them, and Introse Bridge are able to get over the top of Crossfields, then it's Introse Bridge that will get promoted. If Crossfields and Woolston come up with surprising results, then Heworth are going to get promoted. What's your thoughts on them?
I'd be very, very surprised if Woolston Rovers and Crossfields came away with the wins. As much as the affinity I've got with both of those clubs, because they're not very far from where I live at the moment.
So we're back in Heworth here, aren't we?
I'm going to say Heworth and Introse Bridge.
Sorry, I was trying to build it up. I was trying to build it up, folks. I was trying to build it up. And
I think. The only thing is if Heworth are very complacent against Woolston, and Woolston play as good as they've been playing the last few weeks, then there's a possibility. But I cannot see Heworth letting it slip. Not for a automatic promotion place.
What about these other four then? Kells against Shawcross Sharks. Do you fancy Kells at home? Or what about Oldham St Anne's against Wigan St Jude's?
I think Shawcross Shark might just turn Kells over. I think there's Shawcross Sharks. I think want to at least go into the playoffs with some form. Jude's. I don't know though, because obviously Jude's now is it a dead rubber? I know we don't like saying
it's a dead rubber for Jude's.
Yeah,
it's not a dead rubber for Oldham St Anne's. They've got loads to play for still.
So it's how Jude's approach it. If Jude's are in celebratory mode, and suddenly it doesn't really matter. Which I'd be very surprised if they took it that way.
I'm going to upset our Waterhead friends again by saying I enjoyed my last visit to Oldham and I think that's going to be an interesting game.
You're just lucky that there's no video from Waterhead and Warriors next week, because I think Stuart and Jeff might have had
they'd be having a word. Forgive me, gents.
Yeah.
Let me indulge. What about Alton then?
Right, now if Alton can take that,
that was the result of the season last week, wasn't it?
If they can, they can replicate that form, I think they could turn Egremont Rangers over there.
Interesting. And finally, Wigan St Pat's against Stanley.
Ooh, well, Stanley have got to get back on the bike, haven't they? At the end of the day, after that loss, that will be a close one. I think Stanley might edge it. St Pat's, I think, just not back there yet. But I think Stanley will want to consolidate on that loss from last week and again go in the playoffs in some sort of form.
2 games to finish the Division 2 campaign. Dewsbury Celtic at home to Barrow Island. East Leeds at home to Hull Dockers. East Leeds, are they going to go 22-0?
Yes.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Dewsbury Celtic, do you think they'll be troubled by Barrow Island?
Not at all.
This was the Impetigo game, if you remember.
That's right, yeah.
Got shunted a few weeks ago.
The East Leeds Old Dockers one, is this the one that got abandoned?
No. This was one where Hull Dockers had notified East Leeds that they couldn't raise a team at the time, so it was agreed between the two clubs to then play it later on. And let's be honest, you mentioned dead rubber.
Yeah.
To be honest, both of these games have been rendered dead rubbers, but they couldn't take a chance a few weeks ago with the Barrow Island situation, because they were threatening to get in the playoffs, and they've had to sort of rearrange this game, and as a result that has that's delayed the start of the playoffs at Division 2 level, hasn't it? Which I believe has caused a little bit of consternation in certain circles.
It certainly has. So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out. But it makes you think that if these two games are dead rubbers on the same day, could the playoffs not have been played?
They couldn't at the time because they didn't know. So they've had to schedule them. And as a result, they've then shunted the rest of the season. They could, at the time when these were arranged, the East Leeds and Old Dockers was always going to be a dead rubber.
Yeah.
But at the time, Barrow Island still had a chance of getting in the playoffs. As brief a chance as it was, because they had to win the final 2 matches, which were incidentally against the top 2 teams in the division.
Yeah.
But you can't take a chance. It's your sport, isn't it? So for me, the NCL did the right thing in sort of making the decision that it was. I mean, I would say that anyway as the media representative.
It's a bit like letting Leigh East win against Bentley, wasn't it?
I didn't let Leigh East win against Bentley, but in sort of saying that, I get your point.
Yeah,
I get your point. But at the time when everything was up in the air, it was the only option that was open to the league. To be fair.
I mean, what they've got to do now is much the same as the referees have done, or what Ben Taylor's done, or I'm sure will be doing, is looking now. Right, this is something that's happened in the future. How can we do something mitigating to try and work around this in any way, shape, or form, so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think, and there has been games that have been played after the end of the league season in the past. And there's been occasions in the past where the playoffs have been moved. You hope to avoid it, but I think because of when it happened in the season, the only other option would have been midweek, and they wouldn't have been able to get the game played midweek because Barrow Island had been struggling to name 13 players on Saturdays. What would that have been like? And then obviously if the game doesn't get played, somebody's got to fall punishment for it not getting played.
Getting played, yeah, that's true. So that's the 2 outstanding fixtures in Division 2. Dewsbury Celtic against Barrow Island and East Leeds against Old Dockers.
But yes, one final reminder that we will be venturing over the Pennines again.
We certainly will.
We'll be heading north of Doncaster. I will be in the foothills of Halifax, where it'll be Siddle taking on West Bowling State. I can't wait for that. That is going to be absolutely outstanding for us.
So I've got to fetch a big raincoat and a big umbrella.
Yeah, big raincoat, big umbrella. I'll try and do the same.
I think I'll have to get my golf gear out, because if it's going to be wet...
Don't take your 9 iron.
I'll tell you, I'll take my driver.
Am I driving then?
I was just looking. By any chance, are Leeds playing on Saturday against Wigan?
It's on Friday night, that.
Oh, is it? So it's so the game's not been put till 1 o'clock. So, certain coaching staff can be there at Siddle.
Maybe there's certain coaching staff elsewhere. I don't know.
Maybe. But,
Stop fishing. I thought it was me that was the journalist, and you're fishing.
I just want to know why. When I see anything away from the norm, I want to know the reason why.
Stop you complaining.
And how come everybody's agreed to it? That's what I want to know as well.
Well, it has been agreed, so we can't do anything about it. We are at beck and call. We're not Sky. We can't dictate when these sides kick off.
So we're wandering over the Pennines. So this is Halifax against Bradford. Am I right there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So
that's a big Yorkshire derby,
isn't it?
It
is a local derby. Yeah, it is a local derby. Yeah, can't wait, Steve. Thank you as ever, Steve. Thank you as ever as well to anybody that's featured as a guest so far this season. We've loved covering the games. We're looking forward to another one on our route to the finals. But thank you for joining us, and thanks to you, Steve.
Yeah, what I would say before we go, Dave, is don't forget, if a lot of you won't have a game this weekend because either your games are finished or unfortunately You're not there anymore. But if you want to listen to the game, get onto Mixler, get on there and sign up, download it, get the app on your phone, and then you will get a notification when any games are going to kick off with regards to, and obviously our show as well. You will get a notification of that. And that'll be all ready for next season as well. You won't have to do it then.
I see what you've done there.
And the other thing is, tell your friends about, obviously, the show. Friends, supporters, are they going on holiday? Get the app on your phone, then you can listen to the game or listen to the show. Something to make that that flight a little bit shorter. And as Parky said, we'll see you next week.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.